English PodClass, conversation practice for beginners.
If you've ever stayed quiet in a conversation because you were thinking everyone is judging my English accent, or you're worried you sound too foreign, then you are in the right place today. We're diving deep into why that fear is actually holding your fluency back more than the accent itself.
Seriously, we're going to show you why having an accent is actually a massive win, and how you can stop stressing and start speaking with the kind of confidence that makes people listen to what you're saying, not how you're saying it. By the end of this, you're going to see your own voice in a completely different way.
I'm honestly so passionate about this because I've seen brilliant students, doctors, engineers, amazing parents who literally shrink in social situations just because they don't sound like a Hollywood movie. It breaks my heart because I've been there too when I tried learning Spanish. I felt like a toddler, you know?
Totally. And wait until we get to the part about the secret native reality. Most learners don't realize that even Rachel and I don't speak the same English half the time. There's one specific thing about native speakers that will completely change how you feel when you walk into a room of Americans.
Exactly. If you want to keep improving your English with us every single day and finally feel that click of confidence when you speak, make sure you subscribe. We've got a new episode for you every Monday through Friday so you can keep that momentum going and never feel like you're practicing alone.
Rachel, I gotta be honest with you. I think we're being a little too nice about this. Like, of course people judge accents. It's human nature, right? If I hear someone with a super thick accent, my brain automatically goes, oh, they aren't from here. We can't just tell students nobody cares because, well, people notice.
Whoa, Mike. Okay, hold on. There's a massive difference between noticing an accent and judging someone's intelligence because of it. That's the trap students fall into. They think because they have an accent, people think they're not smart. And it's just not true.
I don't know. I've seen people get impatient in line at a coffee shop when they can't understand someone right away. It happens, you know? It's frustrating for the speaker and the listener.
But Mike, that's about clarity, not the accent itself. You can have a thick accent and still be perfectly clear. My point is, students spend so much mental energy trying to sound like they're from Ohio that they lose their personality. They become like English-speaking robots.
Okay, English-speaking robots is a bit much, but I see what you mean. You're saying the stress of trying to hide the accent actually makes the communication worse.
Exactly. It's the stress that kills the fluency. Think about it. When you go to New Orleans or deep into the mountains in North Carolina, do you understand every word those native speakers say?
Definitely not. Sometimes I feel like I need a translator in my own country.
Right? So if two Americans born and raised in the U.S. can struggle to understand each other because of regional accents, why are we putting this impossible standard on someone who learned English as a second or third language? It's a superpower, Mike. If you have an accent, it literally means you know more than one language. That's a flex.
I never thought about it as a flex. I guess it's like a badge that says, hey, I'm smart enough to live my life in a whole different tongue.
Exactly. And honestly, if someone is actually judging you for having an accent, that's a them problem, not a you problem. But I have a question for everyone watching right now. Be honest. Have you ever skipped a social event or stayed silent in a meeting just because you were worried about your accent? Drop a yes in the comments if you felt that, because I want you to see you're definitely not alone in this.
Yeah, I'm curious to see those comments. But Rachel, if the accent isn't the problem, what is the actual thing they should focus on to feel that confidence? Because just saying be proud is hard when you're sweating at the register.
That's exactly what we're hitting next. There's a specific shift from perfection to connection that changes everything.
Okay, Rachel, I'm sold on the accent as a superpower thing. It's a flex, I get it. But let's get real for a second. What happens when you're at a restaurant or you're checking into a hotel and the person behind the counter gives you that, you know the look, that I have no idea what you just said face? That's when the panic sets in.
Oh, the blank stare. I know it well. It's the ultimate confidence killer. But here's the secret. Most people aren't judging your accent in that moment. They're just trying to process the sounds. Instead of apologizing for your English, which please stop doing that, you just need a few bridge phrases to keep the conversation moving.
Bridge phrases? Like instead of saying, sorry, my English is bad?
Exactly. Never say your English is bad. You're literally doing something millions of people can't do. Instead, if you see they didn't catch something, just use a casual, let me try that again. It's so natural. Or even, I'm still getting used to the noise in here. 1 second. You're blaming the environment, not your brain.
That's smooth. I like that. It puts the fault on the loud room, not the speaker. What about if they're the ones with a crazy thick accent, like a New Yorker talking at 100 miles per hour?
If a New Yorker's hitting you with that forget about it energy, you just say, slow down a second. I want to make sure I got that. It's polite, but it shows you're in control of the interaction. Another great one for a restaurant is, could you say that one more time? I want to be sure I'm ordering the right thing.
I want to be sure I'm ordering the right thing. That's awesome. It makes it sound like you care about the food, not that you're struggling with the language. Definitely stealing that one for when I'm in a loud bar.
It works every time. The goal isn't to sound like a native, it's to be a confident communicator. When you use these phrases, you're telling the other person, I'm here, I'm present, and we're going to understand each other. It's a vibe shift, you know?
Totally. It's like you're leading the dance instead of stepping on their toes. But wait, I'm thinking about that curiosity loop from earlier. You mentioned a secret native reality about how we talk to each other. Are we getting to that soon? Because I'm starting to realize I judge your accent sometimes when you say water weird.
Hey, my water is perfectly fine. But yes, we are getting to that native reality in just a bit, and it's going to make everyone watching feel so much better about their mistakes.
You know, Rachel, looking at these comments coming in, it's wild. We have someone here, let's see, Lucia says she once tried to order chicken in London, and the waiter thought she said kitchen. She was so embarrassed she just walked out. Lucia, I promise you, that waiter has heard way weirder things than someone trying to eat a room.
Oh no, Lucia, don't walk out next time. Honestly, Mike, that's such a classic. I once tried to ask for bottled water in Italy and ended up asking for ugly water because I messed up one tiny vowel. The waiter just laughed, I laughed, and guess what? I still got my water.
Exactly. And look at this one from Ahmed. He says, I feel like I'm a CEO in my country, but in the US, I feel like a child because of my accent. Man, that hits hard. That's that everyman struggle right there.
It really does hit hard. Ahmed, if you're listening, remember, the fact that you are a CEO or a professional in your own language means your brain is high-powered. The accent is just a temporary filter. Don't let the filter hide the person behind it.
It's like having a Ferrari, but driving it through a car wash, right? You're still in a Ferrari, it's just a bit soapy for a minute.
I love that metaphor. A soapy Ferrari. That's going to be the title of my memoir. But seriously, everyone in the comments is saying the same thing. They're all afraid of that one specific native speaker who is going to correct them or judge them.
Which is funny because half the time we're barely paying attention to the grammar. We're just thinking about our own lunch.
Precisely. We're so caught up in our own heads that we don't realize the other person is usually just trying to be helpful. Most people want to understand you. They aren't grading you. They aren't your English teacher from high school with a red pen.
Speaking of being helpful, Rachel, I was thinking about that travel survival guide you've been working on. Does that help with this specific blank stare situation at immigration or hotels? Because that's where the pressure is the highest.
It actually does, Mike. That's exactly why I put together Travel with Rachel, the Survival Guide. I realized that when you're at immigration or a pharmacy, you don't need a grammar lesson. You need the specific phrases that work even if you're nervous and your accent feels heavy.
Right, because that's the final boss of English, right? Dealing with the police or a grumpy flight attendant when you're tired.
Exactly. We cover everything from the airport to the doctor's office so you can walk in feeling prepared instead of panicked. If you want to grab that, the link is in the video description for more information.
I've seen some of the scripts in there. They're super practical. Definitely takes the performance anxiety out of the trip. But okay, back to the secret native reality you promised. My curiosity is piquing here. What is this thing that natives do that students don't realize?
Okay, Mike, here it is. The secret native reality. Most English learners think that native speakers have this perfect, standard way of talking. But the truth is, we are constantly misunderstanding each other. I'm from the West Coast, and when I go to the Deep South, or even parts of New England, I'm literally leaning in like, wait, what did they just say? We ask for clarification all the time.
Oh, 100%. If I'm talking to someone from Boston, I'm basically guessing every third word. Park the car? Are we parking a car or a cat? I have no idea. But I don't think they're bad at English. I just think, oh, they're from Boston.
Exactly. That's the vocabulary lab for today. We don't judge the accent. We just use specific fillers to bridge the gap. Instead of saying, I don't understand, which sounds like a failure, we use these natural expressions.
Like what? Give me the good stuff.
First one, wait, run that by me again. It's super casual. It doesn't mean your English is bad. It just means I missed that.
Run that by me again. I love that. It sounds like we're just collaborating on a project or something.
Right? Or try this one. You lost me there. It's a very common way to say, I got confused, without making it about your language skills. It's about the flow of the information. And my favorite for when someone is speaking too fast, slow your roll a bit. It's a bit more gesture style. Your style, Mike, but it works.
Haha, slow your roll. If a student said that to me, I'd be so impressed by their slang that I wouldn't even notice their accent.
That's the trick. Using natural expressions like totally, right? Or, acts like a social lubricant. It makes the listener feel comfortable, and when they're comfortable, they stop focusing on your pronunciation and start focusing on the vibe.
So it's basically fake it till you make it, but with better vocabulary.
Not even faking it. It's just leaning into the human side of conversation. We're all just humans trying to connect. But Mike, I have a challenge for you and everyone watching. We've talked about the mindset, but how do we actually practice this without feeling like we're back in a classroom?
Okay, Rachel, I'm ready for the challenge. But first, I gotta know. If the secret native reality is that we're all just guessing what each other is saying half the time, does that mean I've been faking it my whole life without realizing it?
Mike, honestly, yes, we all do it. When someone's accent is super strong, whether they're from Glasgow, Scotland, or rural Texas, we use context clues. We don't hear every phoneme, we hear the intention. And that brings me to the shadowing with soul challenge for everyone watching.
Shadowing with soul? That sounds like a 70s Motown band. I'm into it. What's the move?
Most students shadow by trying to match the exact sound of a native speaker, like a parrot. That's boring and it's stressful. The challenge is this. Pick a 30-second clip of a movie or a podcast, maybe even this one, and don't worry about the vowels. Instead, shadow the energy and the pauses.
So if I'm saying totally, I'm not worried about the T sound? I'm just trying to feel how totally feels in the conversation?
Exactly. Focus on the right, the and the hmms. Those are the human glitches that make you sound like a friend, not a textbook. If you can master the rhythm, the accent becomes a beautiful background melody instead of a distraction.
I like that. It's like learning the beat of the song before you worry about the lyrics. It takes the pressure off the tongue and puts it on the soul? Is that why we're calling it that?
You got it. And here's the mini loop for everyone. Remember at the beginning when we said having an accent is a flex? Your homework this week is to walk into one interaction, at a cafe, on a Zoom call, wherever, and instead of thinking, I hope they don't notice my accent, I want you to think, I am the only person in this room who can speak 2 languages.
That's a power move. I'm definitely going to try that even just when I'm editing this video. I'll think, I'm the only one who can make Rachel look this good.
Hey, I make myself look good, thank you very much. But seriously, if you try this identity shift, come back to this video and tell us how it felt. Did the other person treat you differently, or did you just feel different?
I bet it's the second one. But man, we've covered a lot. From Soapy Ferraris to Boston accents.
I feel like we need to bring this home because my brain is starting to do that thing where it forgets how to speak English entirely.
Perfect timing. Let's wrap this up with the big realization.
Man, looking at the clock, we've been at this for nearly 15 minutes. My main takeaway? I'm basically a genius because I can understand you even when you're being West Coast Rachel. And our students are even bigger geniuses because they're doing all this in a completely different language.
Exactly. If you take away one thing from this episode, let it be this. Your accent isn't a mistake you need to fix. It's the physical proof of your bravery. We talked about how even Mike and I struggle with regional accents. We gave you those bridge phrases to handle the blank stare, and we challenged you to own your Soapy Ferrari status.
I'm still laughing at Soapy Ferrari. But seriously, seeing the comments from Ahmed and Lucia, it just reminds me that we're all in this together. No one is perfect. I mean, I literally mixed up the words accent and accident like 3 times in my head while we were talking.
Well, sometimes an accent is a happy accident. Honestly, I'm so proud of everyone who stayed until the end of this conversation. It shows you're committed to the mindset, not just the grammar, and that is what actually leads to fluency.
For sure. And hey, if you found this helpful and you want to keep hanging out with us, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to make sure you have your daily English practice ready to go every Monday through Friday. Plus, it helps us keep the lights on so Rachel can keep buying fancy coffee.
Hey, it's an essential business expense. Anyway, if you're looking for what to watch next to keep this momentum going, you should check out our last episode. It dives even deeper into the mental side of this journey.
Oh, you mean the one called Why Your Brain Refuses to Speak English and How to Fix It?
That's the one. It pairs perfectly with today's talk because once you stop worrying about your accent, you have to deal with that mental block that keeps your words stuck. Go watch that one next, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, go fix your brain. We'll wait.
Mike, have a good one, everyone.
Get you later.